Hey guys, it's Angel. Today I'm going to be taking my classic Taiwanese 3-cup chicken recipe, or sanbeiji, and we're going to be adding a twist to it. We're going to be adding some tofu to that, so it's going to be 3-cup chicken with tofu. It's going to be super delicious. I love tofu, so anytime I can put tofu into a dish, I will definitely take that shot. Now for the ingredients. Now I know this looks like a lot of ingredients, but it's really not. Most of it is basic stuff that you should have in your own kitchen pantry for sauces. But the first thing that we'll need are chicken drumettes. I have about 1 to 1.5 pounds of chicken drumettes, and I like using chicken drumettes here because the meat is bone in and we don't have to chop it up. It's dark meat, so it's going to be very, very tasty and tender. In addition, we will need some tofu because I'm adding tofu to this dish. I recommend using fried tofu so that way it stands up to the sauteing when we cook this in my wok. We will also need 15 to 20 cloves of garlic. So I have some fresh garlic which we're going to peel in a bit. We'll also need a small piece of ginger, and this is about 2 to 3 inches here. We will also need some Thai basil here, and I think about 15 leaves is good. It has a nice fragrance to it. And you'll notice Thai basil has the purple stem versus the sweet Italian basil, which has a green stem. So there is a difference. Now for the sauce, we will need a little bit of rice wine. I'm using 1/3 cup of rice wine here. We'll also need 1/3 cup of light soy sauce and 1/3 cup of sesame oil. Now this is Asian toasted sesame oil, so not just regular cooking sesame oil. It has a really nice nutty fragrance to it. It's very delicious, and this will give us some really nice flavor and fragrance when we stir fry that into our sanbeiji. We'll also need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And if you like it spicy, just to give it a little bit of kick, we'll need some crushed red chili flakes. Now, if you don't have crushed red chili flakes, you can also use fresh sliced chilies as well. And we'll need 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes. Finally, to give it a little bit of sweetness, we'll need some cane sugar. And I'm using about 3 tablespoons of cane sugar in this recipe. And that's it. Now we're ready to prep our ingredients. All right, now we're gonna prepare the ingredients. So I'm going to start with our Thai basil here. So I actually had a subscriber who was watching my original Taiwanese 3-cup chicken video, and he asked me a question recently. I'm about to try this recipe this week. In my part of the world, some ingredients are hard to find, especially the type of basil you use. Does Italian European basil also work for this dish? So the answer is you can use it. It will have a different flavor. So Thai basil has a stronger, more licorice type flavor, whereas the European basil, or the Italian sweet basil, has more of kind of a black pepper taste, and the licorice taste is not as pronounced. So it's different. But tip of the day is that they serve this in pho restaurants. So if you ever get a bowl of pho, and you'll notice that there's a little side dish with bean sprouts and basil, well, this is the Thai basil. So if you can't find this in your grocery store, but you do happen to have a pho restaurant nearby, order some pho to go and save some of the Thai basil for this dish. All right, so I have some Thai basil here, and we will need about 15 pieces of basil. Ballpark it however much you want, but I usually go for about 15 pieces. Next, we'll need about 15 to 20 cloves of garlic. So we are just going to do this by hand. You can also buy pre-peeled garlic, but we will do this today with my handy silicone garlic peeler. The silicone garlic peeler is amazing. If you hate peeling garlic, this makes it super easy. Just give it a roll, and voila! Super easy to do, and it makes it really convenient to have fresh garlic. If you guys are interested in getting one of these and you don't have one already, I'll post a link in the video description where you can get this on Amazon. It's really inexpensive. Just keep doing this for the rest of the garlic pieces, and then we can start on our ginger. Next, we're gonna slice our ginger. So I've got a small piece of ginger here. Just going to chop off the ends. And I'm kind of lazy today, so I will be just slicing off the skin. You can also use the back of the spoon to clean your ginger skin off, but today I'm just going to use a knife. So I'm just going to do a couple thin slices. Just like that. Now we'll set that aside on a plate and we're ready to make our sauce. So I will start with a small bowl. I've got a 1 cup measuring cup here. And we're going to do 1/3 cup of light soy sauce. We'll also need 1/3 cup of rice wine, and this is rice wine for cooking. And if you guys are wondering, the alcohol actually burns off when you cook, so you won't get drunk off of this. Don't worry about that. We'll need 1/3 cup of rice wine. And 1/3 cup of sesame oil. This smells really good. And I'm just gonna add 1/3 cup here. I know it seems like a lot of sesame oil, but it'll definitely be worth it. We'll also need 3 tablespoons of cane sugar. And this is just to give it a little bit of sweetness. Half a teaspoon of salt. And finally, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper or chili flakes. And this will give it a nice kind of little hint of heat and kick to it. Not that much, but just enough to bring out the flavors. Of course my spoon won't fit in there. Okay, let's do it this way. That's about 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna give that a stir and let that dissolve. And that is our sauce. All right, so I'm going to be cooking this dish in my wok. So I'm gonna preheat my wok on a medium-high heat. Once that's preheated, we're going to start adding our oil and we're going to start by browning our chicken. All right, the wok is starting to smoke, so we're gonna add some oil first. Now brown our chicken. And when you first put your chicken in there, make sure to give it some time to let it develop a nice crust before you flip it, so that way your chicken doesn't tear. Now I'm going to add my garlic and my ginger slices. And then start to stir fry. What we're looking for here is to just brown the outside of all the chicken, so that way it can have a nice crust to it, nice golden brown, and then we'll put the sauce in. This is super funny. One of the chicken pieces has a little bit of hair on it. I know, it's so weird. That's okay. If there's hair on it, you know it's real, right? All right, so the chicken has kind of started to develop a nice brown around the skin, which is perfect. And now is a good time to add our sauce. So just give that a good stir, and we're gonna pour our sauce in. So So when we first put our sauce in, you'll notice that it's actually kind of thin and liquidy, and that is okay because over the course of 15-20 minutes, that sauce will start to reduce and the rice wine that we put in there will start to evaporate, and sauce will begin to develop a nice, thick, glossy sheen to it. So it'll definitely become like a nice thick sauce, which is what 3-cup chicken is known for. Once the sauce has thickened and you're about 75% done through the cooking process, go ahead and add your tofu. Once you've added the tofu, go ahead and give that a good mix, and then continue to let that reduce until the sauce is almost 100% evaporated. So this is the consistency the sauce should be at when you're nearing the end of cooking. It's kind of glossy, there's not a lot of sauce left, maybe more oil that you see, and this is the time to be adding in your basil. So I'm just gonna add the basil leaves in here. So now that we've added in the basil leaves, give it a quick toss, and then we'll let that cover and kind of steam in for 1 minute. And now it's done. The sauce smells amazing. There's that basil fragrance. And now we can go ahead and put this in a serving dish. And that, guys, is how you make sunbeiji or 3-cup chicken with tofu. My kitchen smells amazing and I can't wait to try this. So let's do the taste test. I'm gonna get a piece of tofu and a piece of chicken. The sauce looks really glossy and amazing. Okay, let's try a bite of the tofu first. Okay, wow. The sauce is amazing. If you've had 3-cup chicken before, it's a little savory, it's a little sweet, and the flavors of that garlic just make this dish delicious. And I'm gonna try the chicken. This is a really big piece of chicken drumette, so I'm gonna try to be graceful with this bite. There's no graceful way to eat that. Wow, this is really delicious. The chicken is very tender, and because we simmered it for about 15 minutes, the sauce is kind of like infused in the chicken. It's really, really yummy. Highly recommend that you guys try this at home. The tofu makes this dish kind of unique, but also really delicious. Tofu and chicken. I'm Angel, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video twist on a Taiwanese classic, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And as my grandpa would say, sharing a meal with a fascinating stranger is one of life's true delights. So until we can share some 3-cup chicken together, take care, I love you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!